오랜만에 오네.
예쁘다.
여기 보니까 낮에는 또 처음이니까.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to see you. Avec de vous rencontrer.
Merci, merci. Non, Philippe,
Ouais.
Philippe Giraud.
It's glad to see you.
Very nice to see you.
You want to know about
yeah.
Alfred Giraud?
First of all, I'd like to know about you.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to tell you. So I am Philippe Giraud. I am the great grandson of Alfred Giraud. I come from Cognac. My family comes from Cognac. We were coopers making casks in the 19th century until 1910.
Yeah, before World War.
Yes. And then in 1910, Alfred's father,
Your grandfather,
my great grandfather,
right.
the grandfather of my grandfather, Cognac House, which at that time was a small Cognac house, but which has become over the years very well-known Cognac house. So from 1910 to 1924, he trained his son Alfred, who was the cellar master of the same Cognac house from 1924 to 1954.
Wow.
You know, almost 100 years we were cellar masters of
yeah.
My father worked his entire life in the same company, and I myself, after I graduated from business school in 1992, from 1995 to 2004 I worked for William Grant and Sons.
Oh, right.
Balvenie, Glenfiddich. After 200 years in Cognac,
Cognac guy working in whiskey industry.
when I left, my grandfather was very upset. But whiskey at that time was kind of enemy, you know.
Yeah. Counterpart of the cognac.
Voilà. Today it's not the case. Today, big multinationals own cognac houses and whiskey houses. That does not exist anymore. But 1995, my family was very surprised. I go to William Grant's. I learned about whiskey for 9 years. 2004, I decided to start my own business. There was a desire to do something for ourselves. We wanted to do something that did not exist before. Cognac? No, not new. Scotch whiskey? Not new.
Yeah.
I woke up one morning and I said, wait a second. There is a potential in France to do something new, innovative, hopefully exceptional. The way in my family we contributed to the production of exceptional cognac for several generations. We started the project in 2011, really started from scratch. Actually had in the team 2 ex-cellar masters of the well-known cognac house, and we started from a blank page, which is an opportunity. You know, if you create a new Scotch whiskey, you're going to be bound by the rules and the codes of Scotch whiskey. But for us, because we were pioneers in French whiskey, we need to control everything. If you look at the true luxury brands, you know, the famous French luxury brands, their strength, I believe, they control production from A to Z. You know? Everything. We did a partnership with a few barley growers. Pretty much nobody did in France. We built our own malting facility. We are able to customize the malting of each batch of barley. And I believe we are the only ones in France. We are able to pit our barley in France. Yes.
Do you have pit as well?
Yes, we have pit oven and we pit our barley.
Yeah, I've tried your pitted one.
Harmony.
Yeah, right. It was really good.
Yeah.
That's why you have everything for whiskey.
We have everything. When it comes to fermentation, we play with the yeast. So we produce several washes. We distill in classic, small size.
Charente pastel.
Charente, voilà.
Yeah.
Alambic Charentais.
Yeah. It's really classic alambic.
Yes.
Yeah. From ancient thing.
Correct.
Isn't it?
You know, a gas
Yeah,
flame.
direct flame.
Direct flame.
Right.
Works very well for whiskey.
Really interesting point. You are making like a cognac for whiskey.
We use traditional cognac stills, that's correct.
Yeah, right.
I give you an example. You know how in Scotland, reduce the alcohol content of your whiskey in most cases just before bottling.
Yeah, right.
A few days before bottling,
the waters.
Water, you reduce the alcohol content.
Right.
We may be the only ones to do this. We reduce the alcohol content of our whiskey over a period of 10 years.
The reducing program like cognac.
Exactly.
Yeah, put the waters to cask.
Correct. Yeah. Some cognac houses do this by lot, you know. We put them in blending tanks. We add a little bit of water and we put the whiskey back into the same casks. And we do it again the following year and again.
It's huge process.
Huge process, very labor intensive. We can do it because we produce very small volumes. You know, it's like slow cooking.
Like sous vide.
Voilà. It's like sous vide. We believe that the molecules sit together better between the whiskey and the water. We happen to have in our family a small forestry operation in Limousin where we can cut, our trees, split the wood on site, and then we send them to small cooperage produces our new oak casks with our own wood. My grand-uncle, André Giraud, remarried a woman who was a wood supplier to the Cognac house.
Perfect marriage.
Exactly. So thanks to their personal relationship, we...
For the woods you're taking from Limousin forest, do you use the cognac cask as well?
Yes. We use two types of casks in Alfred Giraud. We use either very high quality casks or we use unique casks. Unique, for example, in the case Voyage, we are the only spirit in the world to use a wood called Robinier Français with wines, but never with spirits, because it's a wood that is very difficult to control. It's very tannic, very powerful, very aromatic, and you can lose your whiskey if you don't pay attention. Aged in new Robinier casks with Alfred Giraud aged in ex-Sauterne cask wine.
Yeah, kind of my favorite.
I think this year we bought all 5 casks for the entire world.
Just 5 casks.
Very small volume because very difficult to control. So that's a good example of unique wood and mostly very old cognac casks. We try as much as we can buy the casks full of cognac.
That's really good benefits for you.
We resell the cognac, but we keep the casks, the wet casks for the flavors. And whenever we buy an empty cask, we try to buy it within 1 day.
Just after
and immediately we put our whiskies in the casks and we benefit from these beautiful aromas.
Wow.
I think we produced this year for the entire world, Heritage and Harmony, we produced 30 casks.
Really small batch.
Very, very small.
French people, I know they are really heavy drinker for the whiskey. What about the people say about your Alfred Giraud?
So you're right, French people drink a lot of Scotch whiskey.
Right.
Until recently, the biggest Scotch whiskey market in the world. French whiskey is small but growing very fast. There are today 100 whiskey distilleries in France.
Really? But I haven't heard about the name of the distilleries in France.
Most of them are very small and most of them are very new.
Design, looking really luxurious French perfume like that. So I really love your design of the bottle and taste as well.
Thank you very much. We start with Heritage. It's really the DNA of Alfred Giraud.
Alright.
The very old cognac casks give us the flavor, but they do not give us the tannin. Roughly 80% in old cognac casks and 20% in new wood, as we say in France.
Right. It has aroma like cognac.
Yes, even on the nose. Let's be clear. It's a whiskey, yeah? It's clearly a whiskey, so the hints of aromas are very subtle.
How long years do you mature?
Here in what you drink, it's a blend of several years, and we use our oldest whiskeys, 2011, 2012, 2013 and 14 basically, because of the climate. Whiskey ages faster in France than, for example, in Scotland.
What about the Harmony? Slightly peated, isn't it?
Slightly peated version of Heritage. And we have this first marriage. We add to the Heritage base slightly peated new make, 6, 7, 8 ppm.
It's really small.
Very, very small. We do not want to hide very old cognac aromas. Some people don't even get it on the nose.
But I can smell it slightly.
When you taste it, however, the end you will clearly feel this smoky taste that lasts very long and goes well. You feel it?
Very harmonious one. It's
you very much.
spicier than Heritage.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Very different. Some people in my own family prefer Heritage, which is more our DNA.
You always say the cheating is the sherry cask with peat. Whiskey manias really loves it. This one, it's more smoother.
It's delicious if you like to seafood or fish or some cheeses. So the last one, Voyage, I mentioned earlier, is a unique product in the world of whiskey. French Robinier casks.
Right.
It's very intense, very aromatic, very tannic.
It's really strong.
Very strong.
Hard wood.
Very strong. We struggled, to be honest, for years. We struggled on one day our whiskey maker, Gaëtan Mariol, and he had the solution. Blended an Alfred Giraud aged in French Robinier with an Alfred Giraud aged in ex-Sauterne casks.
Oh.
And exceptionally, a short 6-month exo cognac finish, because the whiskey was so powerful and so aromatic that you really had to somehow control it and manage that strength. By the way, bottled at 48 degrees, so it's a strong whiskey, balanced by the sweetness of the ex-Sauterne that comes from the ex-Sauterne cask.
The aroma is a bit different. Is it colors from the cask?
Very much.
Yeah, it's a bit deeper than the others.
Stronger.
Total difference.
Aromatic.
Very tannin, sweeter than the others.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's my type, really.
Some people like it, some people don't like it because it's
someone too strong and a bit spicy.
But whiskey geeks, whiskey connoisseur tend to like it.
I think so. Actually, it's 10 a.m. in the morning, but it's really refreshing. Smells like a forest and finishes stays very long and tastes more grainer.
Yeah, these are natural color. They are non-chilled filter. Entirely natural.
Yeah. So you are in the middle of the wine country.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you have any plans to the making other cask strengths or cask finish?
We don't have plans. We actually doing some trials with many different casks. We've got some of the best wine casks. You can even find some champagne casks, rare, but it exists. You've got Calvados, and you've got Armagnac, and you've got
so many casks
fruit liquor. We will soon release a single malt called Horizon, which is aged in 14 different types of casks. We use Grand Cru Classé Bordeaux casks. Very complex single malt called Horizon. Unfortunately, didn't have the volume to sell it in Korea this year, but it will be soon in Korea.
Wow, look at this. Ta-da! Wow, 근데 it's really luxurious case.
We try to shelter our limited editions in the boxes they deserve.
Can I put this up?
Yes, of course.
Voila. Wow, ooh la la. Un Odyssey.
Aged in a 60-year-old cognac cask. Again, we have a few, but that particular one, we will have for the entire world 459 bottles. This is the first release collection we called the Singular Collection. Casks, individual casks.
Really expecting I should have always keep in touch with you for the next one.
You've got to visit us.
Yeah, I should.
Taste them from the cask.
Wow, that's the best one. Do we open it?
So yes, we are going to open it for you.
Oh my god.
And one of the first in the world.
Wow, right.
It was just bottled a few days ago.
설명서가 이렇게 여권 지갑처럼 약간 이런 식으로. 이렇게.
You're going to taste the bottle number 456. We do not have samples.
Alright.
So what you will feel is very different from the previous whiskey. The exceptional quality. The cask was emptied. It was immediately filled with our whiskey, and you will feel on the nose as well as the mouth when you taste it. Extraordinary notes, cognac cask. Santé, NG. Pleasure sharing it with you.
My pleasure. Aromas has like a cognac.
Despite its strength, it's not aggressive. It's very balanced.
Right.
Very balanced.
Very smooth. Even just right away pour from the bottle, it smells very smooth.
53 degrees alcohol, so intense but not strong.
Wow.
Taste profile, you get closer to a very old Scotch whiskey. You know, you have this feeling of age that comes from the very
old and strong Scotch whiskey.
Yes.
Wow. But it's not a Scotch one.
But it's not.
Power of the whiskey, it coats all around in my mouth. So, what's your next step? I think you are already leading French whiskey industries. So, do you have any big plans or next steps?
Our vision is to produce not necessarily more, but to produce better and better whiskeys. So, right now we are doing a lot of trials. We will definitely have some surprises and some new whiskey in the next few years. as I said, very small volumes, but we allocate a significant share of these to Korea.
Your family company and the other distilleries visiting Korea, and they are now really taking care of the Korean consumers. That's really good thing. Like me, just I'm a drinker. Really good time with you. It's really thank you for coming Korea.
No, please.
And really, hopefully boutique, but yeah, unique, but getting bigger.
Thank you very much. Thank you for welcoming me. I will be back because
Yeah,
I just love Korea.
Or I'm visiting you.
Both.
All right.
Thank
Thank
very
you so
much.
much. Thank you.
Thank you.